So the first thing to know is that I'm very budget-minded. I don't have expensive equipment, but I can still get those incredible snowflake photos. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of these things. First is my camera is a Canon T2i, which I think resales right now for under $200. It's a crop sensor and it's an older camera, mostly because my full-frame sensor camera is deceased, so I'm still sort of between cameras, so I'm borrowing my son's camera. So you can get that for relatively inexpensive. Now the next thing I use are extension tubes. These are two separate sets of extension tubes from different manufacturers. These come very inexpensively. I think both sets total cost $40 or under $50 certainly. And I've just hooked them together. This is roughly 80 millimeters worth of extension tubes. And extension tubes are nothing more than hollow tubes, and basically they act like a telescope between the lens and the camera. And in this case it's more like a microscope, I guess, but it allows you to get closer to the snowflake and make it larger for the sensor to see. With these extension tubes I roughly get about 5 to 6 times magnification alone, so those are pretty good, and again this is under $50 worth of tubing. Next is I have an inexpensive lens. This is the Canon macro lens. It's a 60 EFS. It's a crop sensor lens. It's not a full frame. But the benefit of this particular lens is that it allows me to get really up close and personal with the snowflakes by almost providing a 1 to 2 ratio of enlargement. When you combine the macro lens with the extension tubes, you're talking about getting about 6 to 8 times magnification, which is pretty amazing. Now, the amount of magnification I get can be dialed in from the focus, which is right here. Sorry if it's not very in focus. Basically, when I'm shifted more towards infinity, I'm actually going to have a wider focus angle, which is great for some of the bigger snowflakes. But to get the intense detail that you've seen, I usually am going to have it locked down all the other way to the 2 millimeter or 0.2 meter setting. In other words, this gives me maximum magnification and allows me to capture a lot of detail. Now, in addition to the millimeter lens, I also have a ring flash. Now, ring flashes can come in very expensive types. I've actually owned a very expensive Canon ring flash, but I just picked up this Bolt one, which I really, really like. It's very inexpensive. I think it was around $40 at bhphoto.com. And what I like about it is it's an LED ring flash. Now, the ring flash goes at the end of your lens and provides the illumination you need to get the snowflakes up close and personal. A couple things to know. The first is that we're going to go through the settings on how to set up a ring flash in just a moment, but without this you really can't get the quality of snowflake photos that you've been seeing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the ring flash a little bit more intensely.